You're watching the U.S. American-Made Guitars Show, brought to you by UsePedals.com and Wilgard Productions. Visit WilgardProductions.com for all your audio production needs. Without further delay, here's your host from Chester, Montana, USA, Gary Housley.
Hello everybody, this is Gary Housley with USAmericanMadeGuitars.com, and I've got a special guest on with me today, Joel Hoekstra from Whitesnake and Trans-Siberian Orchestra. Good morning, Joe.
Good morning. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, you bet, man. It's absolutely a pleasure. You're a guitarist, like I said, in two bands. You're in Whitesnake and Trans-Siberian Orchestra. And how did you get this gig with Trans-Siberian Orchestra?
Well, I had a couple of friends in the band who recommended me when they needed someone, and I auditioned a couple times just like everybody else and got the gig. So that was back in 2010. That's
really neat. And right now, will you be working with Jeff Scott Soto on this tour, or a different singer?
No, we see each other in rehearsals here. I mean, there's 10 singers on each side. Eventually they kind of split this thing two ways to maximize the amount of shows that can be done around the holidays. So there's a West band and an East band, and I'm with the East and Jeff is with the West.
Oh wow! I didn't realize that. It's a huge production. I didn't realize that there was two different elements like that. That's interesting.
It's huge. I mean, we're doing 2 arena shows a day each side at that time. So, I mean, it's very difficult to be doing a Christmas show in August, you know what I mean, or a holiday show. So I think to maximize the number of shows around the holidays, that's just the way it is. But we do all rehearse together and work on the music together to make sure the show's consistent and all that good stuff. So, I mean, it really is like we're in the same band. It's just you kind of go 2 different ways at that time of year.
That's interesting. I can see why there's a need for that. Now, what's it like to play on stage with such a large and colorful production?
Oh, it's amazing. Absolutely. I mean, really, some of the things you get to do on a TSO stage, you'll probably never get to do elsewhere unless you join KISS or something like that. But I mean, you know, I'm out on lifts over the arena and all that stuff, playing my guitar 50 feet in the air with sparks shooting up on each side of me, and you know, they're asking us to direct some of this new pyro, these sparkinators with the backs of our guitars and things like that. And I just think, when else am I ever going to have the opportunity to stick my guitar in being asked to put it in pyro and direct it in certain directions? It's really fun. I think it's amazing. It's definitely like the highlight of the thing for me. It's just how massive the production is.
It is so massive, and I love all the lasers and all of the different screens on stage, and the stage is huge, so I noticed you're able to move around and work the crowd, and it's just an amazing production. So it's great to hear you're having fun, because it really looks like you are having fun.
Yeah, I think you have to appreciate you know, all the positives that certain gigs bring you, and that is definitely at the top of the list for TSO is being on a stage like that. I mean, I think I could probably literally be up there in a rocking chair and I'd still look really cool. You know, I mean, it's just it's an amazing feeling to have all that pyro behind you, and like you said, the laser light show and the fog, and I mean, you name it, it's all going on at once.
Oh, it's very entertaining. Great music, great production. What a massive thing to be part of. So, what is your favorite part of the show?
I'm just lucky to be there, man. I mean, I can't say one comes to mind. I like it all. I like the fact that sometimes it'll go down to no production and just an acoustic guitar and a singer, and which usually I'm a part of those songs. So that's a lot of fun to take it all the way from this gigantic scale all the way down to, oh, and now we're just going to do an acoustic guitar and a singer. With nothing going on in terms of, you know, the pyro and things of that nature. So, you know, man, I'm just lucky to have the gig and lucky to be a part of it. So I can't say I have a favorite.
Yeah, with such a large production, do you have help from a guitar tech on the TSO tours?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. I take full advantage of it too. I mean, I think I'm using 11 guitars or something this year, and It's for the most part totally unnecessary. It's just like a great visual, fun thing for me. I mean, it gives me an opportunity to bring out a lot of guitars that haven't seen action elsewhere all year long, and I have a blast with that. I try and make the most of it.
Awesome. Where were the? There's all kinds of places that you're touring. I think you guys start on November 16th in Erie, Pennsylvania. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yes.
Right, Erie. My mom used to live there. I've been to Erie. Nice place, very beautiful. So
yeah, I mean, as it goes, you don't usually see a whole lot. You see your hotel briefly, the bus, and the venue is kind of the way it goes when you tour. So you see a lot less. Every once in a while, I'll try and get out for a walk or something around before your bus call to go to the venue. But so that's the sad reality of touring, is you don't often see a lot of the places you're in.
Right on. So, you have great taste in guitars. I'm just amazed at some of your guitars, and I've put a graphic up right now for people to see. And what I have here is your Whitesnake lineup, basically. And what it is, it's 2 Gibsons, 2 Strats, and an Atomic Guitar Works guitar that we're looking at. And I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the Whitesnake guitars because they're beautiful. They look great. On the Gibson side, what are these Gibson guitars with the unique looking cymbals on there? What are those symbols about? And could you tell me about these guitars?
Yeah, I mean, I had the idea of having those medallions embedded in the guitar. So I had those made at a mint, actually, Northwest Territorial Mint it was called. So I got the artwork for that, the Whitesnake logo from David Coverdale, and I had those made for the Strats and the Les Pauls. And so Fender and Gibson each were kind enough to do the extra work, and then Gibson actually came up with the idea of adding the snake stencil to the guitar, because I thought, it still could use a little something, and they presented me that idea. I thought it looked pretty cool, because you can't right away go, oh, there's a snake on a guitar. It just kind of almost comes off looking like, a little more artistic looking. So I was a fan of it, and so I wanted one done in white and black on each side, a white Strat, black Strat, and white Les Paul and black Les Paul. So very happy with the way those came out. And then Atomic, those guys are just go-getters. I mean, that was totally their idea entirely. I think they'd seen Lady Gaga's guitar player playing with a one that basically had crystals on the top, Swarovski crystals. And they came up with the idea of doing the WS logo on there. That was all them, and they're just very ambitious guys. And that's a great sounding guitar. Plays great, sounds great, and obviously looks super cool. So that guitar is so present, like on stage, that you almost can't use it during a regular song. So I use it during my guitar solo in Whitesnake. It's not, if you're playing a normal song, people have is just pointing at the guitar and not listening to the song. So yeah, that actually fit in perfectly with like just playing my solo on it.
Yeah, I've watched a lot of videos of you playing solos, and it's like a fishing lure. I mean, you're immediately attracted to the sparkles, and it's a beautiful sounding guitar. It looks amazing. On the neck, you've got some beautiful inlay work done on it. What is that? Is that a rosewood fretboard on that one? On all these?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, it is.
And
those inlays for all those guys as well. They asked for, like my birthday and my son's birthday, my anniversary, and all that kind of stuff. And all those are the astrological symbols for those. I'm not an astrology guy whatsoever, so I don't even know actually which one is which. They took that all upon themselves, and I do think it looks super cool though. So I was all for it.
Yeah, it looks super cool. What other types of guitars do you have in your collection? I mean, I'm just showing a picture of a few. I'm sure you probably have more guitars than this. I mean, what are some of the, do you have anything like a 58 or 59 or 60 burst Gibson or anything like that? Are you a collector?
No, no, I'm not, because mine get played and they all get ruined, you know, so or worn in. So yeah, I'm not a collector, but I do have, I'd say, I don't even know the count right now, but it's probably about 35 guitars or something like that that I own, which is, you know, a fair amount. But for a guy like me who's been doing this for a long time, and it's not really anything that crazy. Uh, Gosh, I have the most Les Pauls. I mean, I have a black and a white custom that I use out here with TSO. So a white custom Les Paul black. I have an Access model. I have a white studio that they gave me when we started Rock of Ages off Broadway. And then I have the two Whitesnake Les Pauls. What am I missing? I have an Atomic Guitar Works style Les Paul. That's an American flag that they had made me for Night Ranger. I'll mention the other Atomic stuff now while I'm thinking of it. They made me a big white Explorer style guitar that I use out here with TSO. They made me a guitar that was like a Super Strat with a reverse headstock that had said Arsenal on it for Rock of Ages when I was playing in the Broadway show. Oh, gosh. I have a bunch of Gibsons. I have a Gibson Howard Roberts that I'm using out here with TSO this year. I have a brand new Firebird 2017 custom, you know, black Firebird that I'm using out here. What am I missing? Did I say the SG? I have an SG that I use. I got that when I was doing Love Janis. That was a show about Janis Joplin, so kind of emulating the Big Brother and the holding company guys. Oh man, what else? I know I'm missing like a lot of obvious stuff, but I mean, those are probably the main players off of the list.
Excellent. You've got great taste in your guitars, and I love the look of them, and you play them just, I mean, so amazingly well. Your tapping technique and your you know, your 3 notes per string. I watched that video from your Guitar World tutorial. You do Guitar World tutorials. You're very prolific in all the different productions that you've been part of. I've noticed. I found a list on your website. Man, you have worked with a lot of people. But how did you meet Tim McQuaney and Harry Howard over at Atomic Guitar Works?
So I met them really because they were working with a lot of people here at TSO already. They were working with Angus Clark and Johnny Lee Middleton. So yeah, the way that worked out was they just kind of, I think, reached out to me more or less. I remember the first time talking to him, I guess was at NAMM I was with Grant Gillis, I was with Night Ranger at the time, and we ended up hanging out. And I mean, they're just go-getters, you know. They're willing to say, hey, we want to make you something and see if you like it. They're not out to say you can only play our guitars. There's no kind of, they're not shooting for an exclusive deal or anything like that. They're just ambitious guys, and they do good work. So very, very friendly guys. They've been good friends of mine ever since.
Right, and transitioning a little bit here to some little bit of a tech things here. What kind of effects are you using currently right now? Are you using, you know, certain boxes, or what do you got going on?
Not much. I mean, most of the gigs I do are high gain, very much like good sounding guitar into a good sounding amp. So really with Whitesnake, I've been using just the Fractal XFX2 just for effects, not any of the modeling or anything, nothing like amp related on there, but just running. I like the delay and the reverb on those. I think they have nice effects. So that's pretty much been the plan for Whitesnake for effects. With TSO, I actually do use a Fractal XFX. That's how you do the gig. It's not really the type of gig where they're going to have an amp up on stage and all that. So you're running direct. And same with Rock of Ages when I did it. That was just a Fractal XFX. I'm trying to think what else. I mean, the Cher thing, when I was doing that this year, that was a bunch of stuff, but it was all kind of her main guitar player, Dave Barry, had a pedal board put together for the gig. And so it was a lot of, you know, just good old-fashioned stomp boxes.
Right. I like that you have a simple, you know, clean, quality setup. And I also want to know, you know, what did you think about working with David Coverdale on the Purple album? What was that like working with David
Well, it's
Coverdale?
kind of old news at this point. I mean, I had a great time. That was like right when I joined, and that was a great way to get acclimated working with the band and putting that together. And David, I think, does a great job of just letting you play your best. There's a lot of places or a lot of bands that are interested in kind of hiding that or covering that up or, making it, maybe the people who run the band, it's got to be their show. But David's very much into letting his players show what they got, which I love. So I think he's great to work with. I mean, he still is. We're working on a new album right now. So I've been, done writing with him and also finished my guitar tracks on this new album. So, no complaints, man. David's been great. I really enjoy him. He's a lot of fun, a lot of laughs, and he's always treated me respectfully, and I try and return the favor.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, I really enjoy the Purple album. I played the daylights out of it last night. Your playing is just so sweet and tasty, man. I really enjoy your stage presence as well. You've got a smile on your face. I mean, you really seem to be enjoying yourself. Very entertaining. Just love the TSO stuff and what you're doing with Whitesnake. But back to the gear stuff a little bit. Have you ever found here lately any toys or gear that's, well, maybe you're not even using on tour or anything, but just any toys lately that you found that you're kind of playing around with?
Yeah, I mean, just going off of the most recent thing, tracking the new Whitesnake album, that was really a lot of fun. We had a nice amp rack set up that we could do changes just at the touch of a button between different heads and different cabinets. So we had a great lineup of heads. I ended up using a modded JCM 800 that I pushed the front end with a couple different gizmos. One was Reb's Shiva drive, Sir Shiva drive. That was already plugged in, so I just used that first. I also ended up using this pedal called Cash. That's just a boost from this company, Stomp Audio in Brazil. But the JCM 800 worked great. The Friedman BE 100 head is amazing. I use that on tours so far, on both Whitesnake tours that I've done, and also on this album. I got a new head from a company called Victory. That sounds amazing. Really great head, and also Metza Barba. And I'm drawing a blank on what the model numbers are on those two heads, but they are also really great amps. So I felt like between those four, I had all my bases covered, and then I kept things very simple with the guitar thing. I think I failed to mention my main guitar when we talked about my guitars, but that's just the 57 reissued gold top that I've had for a long time. It's a bit of my good luck charm, I would say, at this point.
Right.
It's been around the world with me. So I used that almost on everything. I used Strat on like some of the new stuff, but it was always to double a Les Paul pretty much. There was never like a moment where it was only me playing Strat.
Yeah, great tone, man. You've got a knack for it. And speaking of great tone, you're with Taylor Guitars, man. How are they treating you?
Yeah, Taylor's been a friend long time. I guess that really started when I joined Night Ranger, because Night Ranger had an affiliation with them, Jack Blades, mainly I think through doing the Shaw Blades thing. And I've always loved Taylor guitars, and they sound great plugged in. They always play consistently. They're just, through any P system, they sound good. It's pretty amazing. There's never like, oh, through this system there's this huge abundance of low end or whatever, or high end. They always just seem to sound good when you plug them in and are consistent. So they've been great to me over the years. I have a good relationship with them, and that continues on. I played it on the new Whitesnake and playing Taylor here on the TSO tour, and so yeah, a big fan of the company and the people over there. Tim Godwin's been great to me.
Excellent. I've got a question for you here, and I want to mention two names to you, and I'd like for you to tell me, what all comes to mind when I mention these names, okay? Mm-hmm. First name is David Z.
Yeah, I mean, somebody we're dearly going to miss. I mean, we lost him in a tragic accident this year while he was touring with Adrenaline Mob. He was, my bandmate here with TSO for, gosh, this would have been year number 8. So Look, the women are going to miss Dave because he was a great looking guy with the muscles and the hair and looked like a rock god. And the guys are going to miss him because he was such a great player and everything like that. I'm going to miss him from the humor aspect of it. He was so much fun to tour with. I mean, him and I were just laughing like half of a day, you know. I mean, he's just a really, really funny guy, super fun guy to be around. So he'll be sorely missed.
Yes, he will. And the second name I want to mention to you, Randy Rhoads.
Just somebody who was kind of got things rolling for me. I mean, in the early days, man, when I started, it was Angus Young. You know, seeing and hearing AC/DC was what made me want to play guitar. And then Randy Rhoads and Ozzy were right behind that. You know, it was like going to get Blizzard of Oz on cassette at the record store at the mall and coming home and checking it out and going, wow, it's amazing. And I mean, I definitely appreciate the fact, being somebody who was raised by classical musicians, that he was putting a little bit of that into that changed my opinion of what I'd been through. Like I grew up having to play classical and couldn't stand it and just wanted to play rock. And then when I heard this rock guy playing elements of classical, it made me rethink everything. I went, whoa, so wait a minute. All that stuff can tie together. I get it.
Ladies and gentlemen, you've been listening to Gary Housley and Joel Hoekstra from Whitesnake and Trans-Siberian Orchestra on the U.S. American-Made Guitar Show. Thank you, and until next time, keep it rockin'.
Thanks so much, bro. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, you're great. Thank you, Joe.
Production for the U.S. American-Made Guitar Show by Gary Housley. USAmericanMadeGuitars.com. Audio production by Wilgard Productions. Visit WilgardProductions.com for all your audio production needs.